What's up? There's a lot of y'all. Well, oh, I had the notes. I thought I was going to do like a podium. This is like really, this is really casual. I guess when you're dealing with a bunch of cyclists, it kind of has to be casual, right? But thanks for having me, guys. I'm still sweating a little bit. I just got done with a proper fitting rather than, just doing like the old redneck eyeballing it. It's like now I feel like I'll gain 0.2 miles per hour. But anyway, thanks for having me. John, it's a friend of mine, John Casimus, who kind of, big cyclist, was instrumental in getting me in cycling. And I won't keep you long, but just kind of tell you my history in cycling. John and I guess it's been 3.5 years now I've been cycling, and kind of got inspired, started a few years ago going to Blackberry Farm. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Blackberry Farm, but it's a really beautiful resort in the Smoky Mountains, and it was owned by a guy named Sam Bell. And Sam was just an avid cyclist, and he and Robbie Ventura were really, really close friends. And Sam tragically passed away in a skiing accident, and his passing left a real big, just a never-ending, long-lasting mark on me. And I'd never been into cycling or just being hardcore about it, but for some reason I just kind of got inspired after Sam passed to pick up the hobby, and kind of had a no cartilage in my left knee diagnosis, and knew that running and everything else, just from years on stage, cowboy boots, my knees were starting to, get on me pretty good, and so I started trying cycling, and it was just like the perfect storm. And I've always been being in the entertainment business, it kind of you kind of need to be in shape a little bit, and I always meandered around it. I mean, I would get into something, I'd swim for a little bit, but when you swim in a pool for an hour and the chlorine tears your face off, and then you're on TV and it looks like, you've been snow skiing with no gator for, 2 months. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, but that's a little vain. But anyway, I'd never really carried out an exercise. I'd never really stuck with anything, and for some reason, I just fell in love with cycling. It was something that was easy for me. I always hated the 20-minute ride to the gym and the 20-minute ride home. I always wanted to use that 40 minutes to actually be working out rather than 40 minutes getting to the gym. And so with cycling, you clip in at the house and you're off and going. And I just went crazy, started buying a bunch of bikes, had bikes on the tour bus, had bikes at home, started buying, trainers, and went through a couple trainers, and, little at-home trainers. And then the best part is riding in Tennessee is just, it's hills, it's fall colors, it's when you're running and you do a 3-mile run, you see 3 miles. When you're cycling and you do 30, 40 miles, you get to take in so much more of nature and stuff like that, which kind of fires me up. But yeah, it's been an amazing ride, getting to meet people. I've gotten to ride with Lance Armstrong, and being able to take my my bike on the bus and get out and have a couple of hours to kill, and then to be able to go. I never will forget the first time I played Wrigley Field. I had my bike. I left Wrigley. I rode most of like the shoreline there, and got to see. I mean, it's just being able to get off your tour bus and break the monotony on a bike, and then get you 2 hours of riding in has been a game changer for me, and it's something that I've stuck with. I've always kind of got into something, but I mean I'm kind of proud of myself that I found something that I love so much that I stick with. And I had some notes down here. I'm probably getting off the deal here, but let me see. I did pretty good. Look at me. Like, I knocked it all out. Got the knee problem things in. Oh, another thing, and like talking about your body ailments, but I mean, when you're in cowboy boots for 2 hours a night on stages and stuff, I used to have like terrible plantar fasciitis, or however you pronounce it. I think y'all get what I'm saying. But I dealt with it for years. I mean, I'd have trainers come out on the road. I'd sleep in these things that would pull my, you're trying to sleep in a boot, and you can't. It just doesn't go. It doesn't work. And then I'd tape them, and you'd wake up, or your whole legs be burning and dying, but since I've started cycling, it's a non-issue. I don't even know if there's any. I guess there is a scientific thing about it, but I guess just the motion stretches all those muscles and gives you more. So it's really changed the game for me. And being on stage, I mean, I talk to other friends of mine, and when you have your leg strength, when your legs are on a whole nother level of, I used to have these little twigs, that I was running around on, but when your legs are a different deal, it enhances your overall life, so I got this dry erase board. I'll show you a little. This is when I knew that cycling had changed my life. This was the blatant thing that I knew that it was something I'd have to do forever. And I'm sure we're in Wisconsin. I'm sure we got a lot of hunters out there. And every year, is this my little pen here? So I'll show you a little graphics. Pretty cool. I haven't practiced this, so this will be terrible. But so I go elk hunting. I just got done with my elk hunt. We were out there for 5 days. So we're in this is northwest Colorado. We got an elk lodge right here. It's at 8,400 feet, which is terrible. And then we have mountains going off here that peak at 10.2, right? Just guesstimation. So before cycling, we're bow hunting, and you have to go up there, and the only way you can get the elk out of there is to tote 800 pounds down the hill. So first year elk hunting, bow hunting, I got to right here, 1.2 miles from the house, blown down aspens everywhere, got my elk right here, packed him out, which when you're the hunter and you are the recipient of shooting the elk, you get the heaviest part of the elk, which is the head, the cape, and the antlers, which is we're talking about 9,500 right there. So got 1.2 miles to go, got to step over aspens with 125 pounds on the back of your neck. Does anybody want to guesstimate how many times I had to sit down from here to the house? Anybody got a guess? 25. Woo, 50. 50, you'd have to helicopter me out. So I think I'm saying from what I remember through the tears and the sweat and the pain, I would say it was 8 times. And when I got here, my trip was over and I was miserable. And anyway, so that would have been September. Got into cycling the following. When was it? John's getting fitted. July went. Oh, I forgot one thing. Now it's farm tour. Anyway, farm tour's out. So this following year, broke my collarbone cycling on farm tour. I don't know if y'all remember that, but y'all didn't know me then. So I have titanium. I'm an official cyclist. I have broken my clavicle. Anyway, so the next year, just broke my clavicle, been riding a lot, but got in shape to elk hunt. Went to this side of the mountain, 2.5 miles, about the same elevation, 95, same deal, killed the elk, packed it out. Anybody want to guess how many times I sat the elk down to cry from here to the house? 0. And when I did that, I was like, yes, I'm official. Thank you, cycling. Thank you, Trek.
His first question was, how has cycling worked into your life? I think he nailed that one. But he also asked backstage, is there any way that you would have a whiteboard here in the building? And I said, oh yes, we have whiteboards everywhere in the building. So I think that's pretty impressive right out of the gate, answering a question and filling out the whiteboard. So
when cycling helps hunting, I'm in, baby, I'm in.
You have a Powerfly. You have an e-bike that you use also.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that bike.
Oh, I love it. I think I posted some videos. I hooked my turkey decoy to it, and but like the feathers were rubbing the tire, and I said anyway. But I love that bike. I love the opportunity. You know, when one critical thing when you're out hunting, and I think the ability to let the assist use you so you don't get all sweaty hunting. I mean, you can kind of cruise, be stealthy. And but just the whole premise of when you want to have a nice ride. I mean, my farm, the best part about where I live now in southern Tennessee is on my farm we have, I think we were out there shooting elevations on our iPhone the other day, and we have 700 or 800 foot elevation changes on my farm. And it's really fun to assist up the hill and just do the old nice cruise down the hill. So I'm loving that bike. It sits right there, and when I want to go out and do some kind of silent reconnaissance on my hunting stuff, I like to take that bike. Yeah.
Bow holder.
Yeah, I got to work all that out, but I almost flipped it one time, but it was a slow flip. It wasn't a road bike flip. It was but I saved it last minute.
So we are curious back to the road for a minute. The outfit is not your normal look.
Well, the outfit helps disguise me, so nobody. That's the beauty of, like, nobody's expecting for me to come by in cycling gear, and they're like, I think that was him. And then, so yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing about, I think what's interesting in us, you know, the guys, they, like my hunting buddies, you know, when they see pictures of me in my tight pants, which is really no different than what I deal with when I'm on stage, but it's funny, you know, I have like, you know, some real country buddies of mine. They're like, man, I try to get into cycling, but I just don't want to wear the pants. And is there any way you can? And I even fought that when I first kind of started getting into it. You know, I had the big old saddle that looked like a big old, you know, grandma's, you know, like. So, you know, and as I got more and more into it, I really realized that, you know, there's no way around the pants, and there's no way around, you know, having the pad on the old scrawny butt. So you just have to get over. You have to get over trying to think you're anyway. You know the deal. But then, like I said, when some of my buddies, you know, see the weight shedding and all that, they're like, oh, I may have to wear those frou-frou pants.
Well, earlier today you had the frou-frou pants on, and you sat on a new bike. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, just to be able to come up here, this will be my third bike that you guys have sent me, and I mean, I'm just ready to get on the road with it, and it's just amazing to be able to sit in the, you know, to have the technology there, and to, you know, to draw out all the angles and get coached up. I mean, I just kind of hopped on a bike, and I do want to thank Robbie Ventura with Vision Quest. Me and Robbie's been training me, and gosh, he's an animal. I mean, I don't know if you guys have met Robbie, but I mean, he's just an animal. He literally goes through my numbers. I've got a Strava account, and then I'll ride at home, and he'll dissect all my numbers and tell me to, you know, do more sprints and do more this and that. And he sends it to me every day. And just every morning I wake up, my email, there's Robbie with my new game plan that I don't really do to his liking, but he sent me one of those rings, those Aura things. Have y'all seen those? It tracks your sleep. I'm like, Robbie, you're not tracking my sleep. It's like you're already like, you already like my guilty conscience or whatever in my ear. I'm like, you're not sitting there studying if I'm snoring or not, but or how much wine I had, but.
So when you're not riding the bike.
Oh, well, back to the bike. It's beautiful. It's what's funny is my wife, she's really skeptical of she does get a little, I mean, I'm very accident prone, and she gets nervous when I leave on the road, and she's always like, I want you to have I want everything on, I want it bright, so what's funny is the first bike was kind of like bright Tennessee orange Trek, and which I love. I mean, I'm originally from Georgia, so now we got the Georgia Bulldog Red, and that fires me up. I'm gonna have to send that to Kirby Smart right when I get out of here. He'll dig the pic, but love the feel on it, and just excited to get it on the road, and love the just the whole everything about it. It's gonna be good.
So when you're not riding, you do some pretty cool things. Tell us about Farm Tour.
Yeah, Farm Tour, which is while we're here today. Farm Tour started, this is our 11th Farm Tour, and when I grew up in a real small town, and no one ever came to perform in our town. It was like, they just didn't come there. It was too small, and so when I started having a little bit of success in the music business, I sat down kind of with my team, and I said, it'd be fun to start setting up stages on some of these farms, in the middle of farms, and just putting them on sale and see if people come. And the first year we did like 2 of them in Georgia, and like 1,800 people came, which was like, we were like, it's a success, we're rich, but we also, in the early years, well, first of all, my dad, I come from a farming background, and that's all we did was just, my dad was a fertilizer chemical company, and owned a fertilizer chemical company, and we had a peanut mill. So right now is like peanut season, so if I was not singing, I would be breathing in peanut dust 24/7, But anyway, so the Farm Tour, we just, as I started having more success, we would pick and branch out, and we would try South Carolina, and we would do Georgia and Alabama, and then we did 5 or 6 years in the Southeast, and then we started venturing into the middle Midwest and then Midwest, and it's just been amazing watching it grow through the years. We've always partnered with a local university and given scholarships away to kids from an ag background that want to go, say, to the University of Wisconsin, and we'll do scholarships to get those kids. And I mean, it's amazing. You look at, 6 to 8 cities for 11 years. That's probably, I guess we're around 88 farm tours, and we've given scholarships out at every one of them. And then we've partnered with Bear. And even done some stuff where we do hashtag Here's to the Farmer, and we feed hungry Americans through the hashtag, and I think we've done like 4 or 5 million meals over the past 4 years. But Farm Tour is about like coming up here, and like the weather feels like fall. I mean, it's hot as hell in Nashville. It's awful right now, so I'm glad to get up here. It's gonna be 50 tonight, being out in the fall, being out in a field. I mean, it's pretty surreal, and then to watch and see 15, 20,000 people out there enjoying your music, it's kind of hard to walk away from. We love this Farm Tour.
So we understand that after fall, when winter arrives, you're not a big fan. So you created your own little place to go and things to do in the wintertime, and you take your friends and fans along. So if people want to learn more about where they could maybe go see a great concert.
We do. We do Crash My Playa in Mexico, which is, my vitamin D runs really low in the winter. So about mid-January, I get my vitamin D levels back up down in Mexico. But I obviously love the cold weather for the hunting and outdoor aspects. But like I said, I don't know how y'all do it up here. I guess y'all just sit around and drink Leinenkugels, right? Is Leinenkugel like y'all's deal? Is Spotted Cow up here? Did you see the thing where the spotted cows were in the Spotted Cow Brewery? I love that. I mean, I was drinking coffee. I was like, look, baby, this was like yesterday it ran. Or it's like, look at these damn spotted cows at Spotted Cow.
So I gathered a few questions ahead of time. Have you ever written a song while riding a bike?
That's a good question. You know what? I have called songwriter friends of mine, don't cite me for distracted cycling or whatever, but I will get an idea. And there are, gosh, I wish I'd have known you were good, because I have voice memos on my phone while cycling, singing song ideas into my phone. Like if I went through there I could find it, but I'd be scared what you hear on the other voice memos. So we'll get you next time on that one.
So I'm sure you often get suggestions for new songs.
What's that now?
Do people often give you suggestions,
yeah,
ideas for
and
songs?
they're rarely good. Are you about to do that?
Oh yeah. So we.
Let me tell you, they won't make the album, but I'd love to hear them.
I don't know. Don't be too quick to judge. So we were thinking that just two. One would be hunting, fishing, and riding bikes every day.
You know what? I can tweak that. That's tweakable.
Okay. And then how about sunrise, sunscreen, bike ride, repeat?
You know what? I'm impressed with you.
Sensitive to your schedule. Do you got time for a couple questions?
Yeah, that's fine. Totally. We'll do a couple. Yeah.
Let's do it. Anybody have any questions? Right here.
So your friend Robbie has done the Ride Across Wisconsin with us a couple times.
Ah.
Do you entertain that?
What time of the year is that? August.
So the question, if you didn't hear, Robbie Ventura has ridden across Wisconsin with us. Ride Across Wisconsin. How many people have done that here?
Well, how long does that take?
Right? Oh.
Not long. Oh. No, you're going to have to. I need specifics. You can't.
Well, actually, though, this
I'll
fits
be out there
really
damn
well.
week two going.
No, this fits really well. We started just before sunrise, and we finished right at sunset.
One day you ride across Wisconsin? Yeah, y'all got to give me two. But what's funny about stuff like that? It has to be on my radar, and then like all the stars need to align where Robbie's, and I'm like, oh, I'm off. Oh, honey, can I go? She says yes, and I'm like, oh shit, she said yes. So if it happens like that, I will ride across Wisconsin. Those things, I think, what's the big one in Iowa too? Doesn't Iowa have a? Yeah, Casimus was telling me about it, where you you drink beer and ride too, which that'll get me there. But that's interesting. As I'm kind of a prisoner of my career, which I know everybody is. I don't want to be like, boo-hoo, I'm a prisoner of my career. But stuff like that, just, I have to get out in front of it and plan it. But that's certainly definitely something that'll interest me. And if I put that idea in Robbie's head, he will drive me so crazy that it'll probably force me to do it. So you never know.
How about another question? Someone over here. Right there, Carol.
Do your kids do a lot of bike riding?
You know what, it's funny, that thing's got some carbonation in
the
it.
question, the question was, are his kids cycling as well?
I wouldn't say that they're ready to, get out on the road and really hit it hard, but they're really active. We have a farm that, they ride their bikes around the farm. I move them out of the driveway. We back over them from time to time. But when we get down to our beach house, we have a place down in between Seaside and Rosemary that is it's like cycling traffic jams down there. It's probably the number one form of transportation down there. So the boys, as they get older, half the problem is us parents, we have to let them go cycle, without having a panic attack and thinking they're going to hurt themselves. But as they get older, they'll go tag along behind me and Caroline down at the beach, and they're getting in. They're 11 and 9, so now they're starting to get into it. But I was telling the guys, when I'm down at the beach, I ride the big wheel fat tire beach bikes, and that's my number one. That's like when I get down there, I'm like, it's funny because I have to, I get down and I got my bikes in my garage, and all the tires are flat, and then chains have rusted, and I'm like, I sit there, I spend one day getting them ready, and then the gears are rusted, so I have to go rip the gears out. But then once I finally get them ready to go ride on the beach, it's like my favorite riding because it's really hard to break your collarbone on the sand, and I can hook my fly rod to the back of me and scout for cruising redfish with my fly rod while cycling. So, as soon as I do that with my boys, they'll be right behind me. So.
Other questions? Yes.
Do you ever get fan struck by someone?
Do I ever get fan struck? I just did from somebody got me that I was like, do I ever get somebody like, I freaked out when it was
Where's Steve Malco?
give me a couple more meetings, but who was it I was around that I was like, that's cool right there? When was the last time I got to play golf with Bruce Smith a couple weeks ago, who's pretty cool. Bruce, I don't know, he's Buffalo Bill and all-time sack leader. Who was it that I was like, that I freaked out and got a picture with? It just happened. Like, let me come back to that. Gosh, it was like, my boys did, my sons got to meet Gronk, and yeah, they flipped out. But Gronk's cool and all, but I wasn't fangirling over Gronk. Good question, though. From time to time, I'll walk. I did it with Bo Jackson. I met Bo Jackson one time, and I was like, hey, man, and he walked right by me, big lead me. But he did it as a joke, and then, gosh, anyway, I'll come back to you on that.
So you're a big elk hunter. We all know you got a nice set of lungs on you. Can you call? You got a bull elk bugling?
I sound like a coyote in a trap. I've learned to cow call a little. I've tried to cow call a little bit, but when you've hiked 12 miles and they're out there, I'm like, let the pros. I know when to let the pros, let the pros handle it. So, but I've got some situations coming up where I will need to learn how to do that. So I always kind of get when I'm get into. I'm real, I'll get into something and I'm just like, I'm sure some of y'all are that way where you just, I got into duck hunting last year and I was just like, I couldn't get enough and went and bought all the calls and, then the ducks are coming in and you blow the call and they're out, and so I'm kind of learning the duck call, but I got to take my one obsession at a time. So elk hunting will be 5 years from now. So you had one, what'd you got? I don't think I was trying to look back. I feel like, sometimes I can't remember early on. I used to just get on Twitter and be like, "Somebody take me deer hunting," and that led to some creepy stuff. But I don't think I have. But obviously. Wherever there's corn and Midwest and cold, there's big old deer. But I'm pretty sure if I have, it's been once, and it's been like one afternoon, But I haven't yet. But I've done Iowa quite a bit. I have a lease in Illinois and Missouri and stuff. So I have to bike ride in August and come up here in December or November and try to do the Wisconsin whitetail. Wisconsin. Favorite song? That's tricky. It's weird. They're like, people are like, what's your favorite song? They're kind of like kids because they do different things to the audience. Like Drink a Beer does this amazing thing to the audience, and then Country Girl Shaker for Me does a really amazing thing for the audience. And then, you know, like Huntin, Fishing, and Loving Every Day is something I'm really proud of. And then, like, I don't know, that's a tough one. They all have, like, when I'm looking at my set list and I'm like, you know, this song's next and this song's next, I'm always like, ooh, ready to see how this crowd reacts to this song. And I mean, historically, I mean, it's pretty amazing getting to do Country Girl Shake It for Me. And it's really, you know, that song's special for me because it, you know, my career was doing this, and then, you know, so, and then I Don't Want This Night to End's pretty amazing too, when everybody's like, you got your hands up, all that. So I don't know, I didn't answer your question. I apologize. I didn't answer this, who did I fangirl over either, so. Well, that was Jackie Bushman. I didn't fangirl over Jackie Bushman too bad. Sorry, Jackie. It was cool, though. You know what, my son, you know, y'all know who Jackie Bushman is? Buckmaster? But my 11-year-old was like, Jackie Bushman. You know, so I'll get it. There was somebody that I was like, that's cool right there. Anyway.
We'll follow up with that in the voice memos.
I hear you, yeah.
All right, we got that. So we promised to keep you on schedule. You need to get to Marshall just down the road before everyone else. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces tonight in the crowd in Marshall. And we really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
And when y'all, you know, when you're looking at me up there and you see those quads popping, just say, I had a little something. I had a little something to do with that.